Hi, I'm Zara, a personal trainer for Nuffield Health, and welcome to Nuffield Health 24/7. Today, I'm going to be going through an intermediate programme designed by a Nuffield Health advanced level physiotherapist. These exercises should feel more challenging compared to the beginner programme. Hip pain can present itself in a number of different ways and may be the result of a number of different causes. Nonetheless, having strong and mobile hips is vital to help reduce pain, improve function, and prevent that pain in the first place. Throughout some of the exercises today, it may be common to feel a slight ache in the hips, but please always work to your own level. Any pain continues, please seek advice from a Nuffield Health physiotherapist. You will need some equipment for some of the exercises today. A chair, some additional weight, a resistance band, and a step up. Please make sure you have plenty of space around you, a mat underneath you, and when you're ready, let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to start just with a light little warm up. I'd just like to come into a nice march for me. And then we're going to draw a nice big circle into our hip, back into the march. So maybe 4 or 5 marches and then change into the other side. So we're just going to mobilise and open up that hip joint just to get ready for the work ahead. Take your time drawing that circle, so lifting the knee and just trying to get into that hip joint for me. Excellent. Nice and controlled as you take that leg round. Excellent work. From there, we're going to step into a nice wide side step into a side lunge and then step back into the middle. So now we're getting our hips again just to work to activate the sides of our hips. So we come into that lateral movement. Take your time with it, doesn't have to go low. Shift your weight back as opposed to driving your knee forward. Again, just warming up, waking up those hips. Let's go back to the march with that hip circle. Fantastic. So we're going to do both of the exercises twice through. Good. And then we're going to start our main sets. So this is great, especially if you've been sat down for a long time today, to really open up that hip. You can make that as big or as small as works for you. Excellent. One more, and then back into those alternating side lunges. You're going to feel a stretch here coming into the inner thigh as well. So again, hitting all areas into that hip joint. Good. So as we land to shift the weight back, watch that knee doesn't go past the toes. Good. One more on the other side, and then coming back into our final round, back into that march, and then draw that circle. Good. Again, don't rush it. Excellent. And then the up and round. So just a little march in between, and then onto the other side. One more on the other side. Fantastic. And then last time round, it's those side lunges. Load off the leg, drive back in. You might be starting to sink maybe a little bit deeper now, keeping that chest up. So all the exercises we're going to work through are going to help to strengthen and stabilise all the muscles around the hip and the pelvis to help alleviate that hip pain. Work to your own level throughout all the exercises. All right, good. One more. Fantastic. So just shake those legs out. All right, team. So we're going to start with block 1. We've got 2 exercises. So I'm going to demonstrate the exercise first, and then we're going to work through 1 round of each exercise. So we're going to come to the chair. We are going to sit and we're going to lift one leg either off the floor or slightly having the toes just touching the floor. This leg, foot on the floor. We're going to engage the foot on the floor and we are going to drive up, and we are going to focus our work on this side. So this side of our hip and this leg. This leg is very lightly on the floor, or we're going to lift it up. So it's control, coming down and then driving up. Use your hands for balance if you need to. Control to sit down. Again, try and do it quite slow. Again, strengthen that hip is going to help with this movement. So we're going to do 30 seconds on that side, and then we're going to change sides. Remember, option to have the foot lightly on the floor, or again, if you need to use the arm rests, you can, but most of the weight is on this leg, and we're doing the work on this side and then coming into this hip. Squeeze the bum at the top, so we really activate into our glute muscles, into our bum, to drive you up, as well as working through the front thigh. All right, and then we're going to come and take our weight. So whatever weight you might have at home, doesn't matter, as long as it's slightly weighted, or you can, again, just use body weight. We're going to hold the weight at the chest, and we're just going to step up and down. So again, getting that pelvis moving by coming up and down, working into the legs and into the bum. So we're going to do for a minute. So you're going to do 30 seconds leading with one leg, 30 seconds leading with the other. Again, with control, driving up through the legs and into the bum. Yes, team? All right. Let's come into that single leg squat. Are we ready? So choose the side that you want to, and 30 seconds in your own time. So you're going to slowly control to sit down and then drive up. Again, hip joint, pelvis is going to have to work harder because you've just got that single leg working. You can lean slightly forward to drive up. Try and keep the knee tracking in line with the toes. Good. Push through the ground, squeeze the bum. Again, stabilize that hip joint and slowly come back down. Fantastic. So let's change sides. Remember the option, lightly have the other foot just on the floor, but we're still focusing on that single leg, chest up. And again, one side you're probably going to find a little bit easier than the other. So again, just listen to your body. Control as we sit down. Big drive up. Again, use the arms to help if you need to. Nice. Drive up. Good. Try not to let the hips wobble too much. Slowly as we come down. Good work, guys. Pick up your weight if you're using a weight. And when we're ready, let's go into that step up and down. So you're going to lead with one leg to start with. As we're here, I want you to drive up using your glutes and your legs and come back down. Good. So soft knees, and just keep the hips facing forward and change leg for me. So lead up with the other leg. So you bend and then stand up tall. Yep. That is going to get your bum muscles firing. Very important within our hip joint. Often a bit of a lazy muscle. Go to your own speed, slow down if you need to. Last 5 seconds. Chest up. Good, always with control. And hold it there. Guys, that was great. If you feel that you need or you would like to do another round of those, just to develop them a little bit more, feel free to go ahead. Okay, so the next exercise is, okay, we're going to go back onto the step. I'm going to be side onto the step, okay? So, going to be hips facing forward, and I'm just going to hover one leg off the side of the step. Slight bend in the knee with the leg that's on the step, hands on my hip, and it's going to be a very small movement of just a little hip tilt, and then up. So that's why I've got my hands on my hip. So again, it's just a tilt. I'm dropping that leg slightly lower, and then I'm using the other side here to reset and drive back up. There's a slight bend in the knee, but I want my hips to do the work. It's not a knee bend up and down. Yep. So it's not about getting the foot to the floor. It's about that little hip tilt, drive up. So again, I'm having to use my glute muscles here to just shift that pelvic tilt there. And then we're going to change, and we will do 30 seconds on the other side. Okay, and then we're going to come down onto the floor. So 2 options. You can use a lower level here on the step, or if you want to use the higher one, you can. We're going to come into a hamstring bridge. So with our feet raised on the step here and we drive up, this is going to activate and work our hamstrings a lot more. Again, hamstring muscles attached into that hip joint. Driving up, we're going to hold for like a second and then come back down. So we're going to do that for a minute, and then we're going to take the feet just on the floor, bring the heels a little bit closer to the bum to drive up more into a glute bridge now. So you're going to push the feet into the ground to squeeze through your bum. And again, help to strengthen those muscles in the hip. An area which tends to often be quite weak, okay? So, when we are ready, we're gonna come onto the step. So we're gonna do 30 seconds to start with today. You can build that up into longer when you are ready. So, slight bend in the knee, and then when you are ready, just gonna do that little hip drop, yep. So again, hands on the hip, tilting that pelvis. It's a very small movement. Yep, again, that single leg on the step is having to work really hard to stabilize the whole body. Good. Fantastic. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Slowly take your time to come over to the other side of the step. The leg comes off. Again, hands on the hips. And slightly drop down, and then reset. So again, one side, it's probably going to feel you might have a bit more movement in one side than the other. That's why we work on both sides. If this is your first time doing the exercise, take it slow. Don't have to get a big range of motion yet to start with. Excellent work. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Guys, that was fantastic. Take your time to come down onto the floor. So we're going to start with that hamstring bridge. So you're going to have your feet on your platform, whatever height you may like it to be today. And when we are ready, we are going to drive up into that bridge, hold for a second or so, and then slowly come back down. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we're going to come up, and then slowly coming down. So by lifting the feet up, we can really feel that engagement through our hamstrings. And again, if you feel, just have your hands again on your hips and just check that there is balance equal on both sides of the hips. Yep, so they're both driving up, squeezing the bum. Fantastic. We're halfway through. You feel prepared to have your hands on the floor, absolutely fine. Really squeeze, engage through the back of the thigh, guys. How are we feeling? Nice work. Again, squeeze the bum at the top. Last 5 seconds. Should definitely be feeling this in the back of the legs. 3, 2, 1. Good. So slowly take the feet off the step. Make some more room for yourself if you need it. And now this time bring the feet a little bit closer towards the bum. And now we're just going to come into that glute bridge. Still raising the hips up. But now we're going to start to feel it more as we drive up. Really squeeze the bum and start to feel it into the glutes more. So again, very important to strengthen our glute muscles, especially if we sit down a lot. And again, just take your time. Focus on feeling it through the bum and not pain in the hips. Excellent work. Big squeeze. Let's do 30 more seconds. Excellent. Again, not coming up too high, but focusing on that squeeze and that engagement through the glutes. This is good work, guys. 4, 3, 2, slowly come down. Excellent work. So again, we should be feeling that in our bums. Slowly come up to standing. Excellent work. All right, guys, moving on to block 3. If block 2 felt good, feel free to go ahead and work through those exercises again. We're going to go into some reverse lunges, okay? So I'm going to step one leg back, and then I'm going to drop down, and then come back in, okay? And then change sides. I'm going to step, drop down, Staying up nice and upright, so this knee is in line with the ankle, not pushing forwards, and then step in. So if we're here, guys, gonna reverse lunge, step in. Again, hands on the hips to feel if there's any extra movement. Good. And then for our final exercise, if you have a band or something you can tie around just the top above your knees, we're going to come into just kind of like a half squat, shoulders down, chest up, and we're just going to do some side steps. So again, that lateral movement to get into our glute med, which is a super powerful muscle to help stabilize the hip joint, which is often neglected or often doesn't like to work properly. So this, you should start to feel it here. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to do both of those for a minute each. If you would like to hold a weight for your reverse lunges, you've got that option as well. All right, guys, when we are ready, let's go. Just going to step back. Again, load off that front leg, drive back up. Fantastic. Again, you might not want to drop as low today. Listen to your body. So you might just want to do it more as a step back. Fantastic. Keeping the chest up, making sure that front knee stays in line with the ankle. Good. And just make sure you haven't got a big arch in your lower back as you step back. 15 more seconds. Again, nice movement for our hip joint. Yep. And again, it's helping to strengthen all those muscles around our hip and into our legs. Hold it there. Take the band. Again, if you don't have a band, it's absolutely fine to do it without the band, and you could just hold a weight. All right? So come into that half squat. Good. Knees out, resist against the band, and let's step. So you could do more steps this way and back the other way, depending on the space you have. Good. So again, I want you to be feeling it on the outside of your bum here. The lower you sink without the knees going forward, the harder that's going to be. Good. So again, step wide. Think about it here, not just the feet moving. Halfway through. Good stuff. Can we feel it? Keep that chest up. Again, weight back, side step. Again, a movement pattern we don't normally do, so our hips are going to thank us for it. Fantastic. All right, let's do 5 more seconds. Good. Always work to your own speed and slowly come up out of that. Take the band off. Guys, that was excellent work. Again, if that felt good and you wanted to go through and do another round, please do. But we're just going to finish with some stretches of the glutes and into the backs of the legs. So we're going to sit at the edge of the chair. We're going to take one leg or one foot onto the opposite knee. Try slightly, if you want to, add a little bit of pressure down just to open up that hip, and then we're going to slightly lean forward, and you're going to feel that stretch into the glutes, so into the bum and the hip of that bent leg. Fantastic work, guys. So it's your opportunity to now develop those exercises, work through a little bit longer, or maybe a bit more intensity with some weight in some of the exercises. Fantastic. Slowly come out of that one and then change sides. Good. So again, slightly adding a bit of pressure down on that knee if you feel you need to. Any pain or anything, please don't. If that stretches enough, that's absolutely fine. And again, leaning forward. It's going to increase that stretch a little bit. Okay, fantastic. All right, we're going to come down to the floor. So we're going to come into a pigeon stretch. So I'm going to take the front leg bend the knee, and then I'm going to try and sit down on the floor with that front hip, both hips facing the front. All right, so that front hip, try not to be back here, is rolled round, okay? If this is too much, you can bend the back knee. That's absolutely fine in this stretch. If you can, take the leg straight, and if you can, slightly lean forward. You're going to feel greater stretch in that front leg and into that hip. Excellent. Okay, so when you're ready, slowly come out of that one, and then let's just swap sides. Again, squaring the hips. If you want the option to bend the knees, if that means you can get your bum down on the floor a little bit more into that stretch, that's fantastic. And again, just leaning forward slightly, it's going to increase that stretch a little bit more. So again, we should be feeling it in the front leg, in the hip. 3, 2, and 1. In your own time, slowly come up to standing. And we're just going to finish with a hamstring stretch. So one leg forward, stick the hips back, toes up if you want to increase that stretch all the way down. Weight on the bent knee and just stick those hips back. Excellent work. Slowly come out of that one, and we'll just finish on the other side. Again, heel down, toes up, chest up, stick those hips back. And again, often an area that's pretty tight, so it's important to focus on those hamstrings. And obviously we built some strength in them in some of the exercises today as well. Slowly come out of that one. Shake the legs. Guys, great work. That is the end of your workout. These exercises should have had a moderate level of difficulty. So start off by completing a session once a day, and then when you feel more confident, increase the volume and repeat the session twice a day before moving on to the next stage. Thank you so much for joining me. See you again next time.